Hello, this is Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Harrison-Pless. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, survivors of Liberia's Ebola epidemic want justice. This after the Red Cross said some $6 million in donor funds was stolen through fraud at the height of the crisis. Bakers in Senegal say they're ready to take off their aprons and turn off their ovens. They're threatening to go on strike amid a scheme that sees middlemen make money off their bread. And Ivory Coast are gearing up to take on Morocco in their Football World Cup qualifier. Pressure is building on the Elephants, who absolutely need a win to make the cut. We begin with a defiant statement from Burundi. The government says it will not cooperate with an ICC investigation into alleged crimes against humanity. The International Criminal Court approved a formal probe into crimes allegedly committed by both government and opposition groups between April 2015 and October 2017. The green light coming after Burundi left the court in October, accusing it of bias against African nations. Let's hear from the Burundian Justice Minister.
Burundi categorically rejects the court's decision. In any event, Burundi will never offer cooperation with the ICC in implementing the decision it has just taken against Burundi, in violation of the Rome Statute and the principles of international law.
Now, survivors of the Ebola epidemic in Liberia are demanding justice. They're speaking out after the new chief of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies promised to crack down on corruption. A scandal over Ebola donor funds erupted last month. The IFRC said massive fraud was committed during its operations in West Africa at the height of the deadly outbreak. Laurent Berstecker has the story.
Like many Ebola survivors, James Harris was shocked when he found out the Red Cross had misused donor funds during the epidemic. In Liberia, an estimated $2.7 million, which should have gone to Ebola treatment and relief, were lost to graft and corruption. Harris is now calling for those responsible to face justice.
That's a huge amount of money we're discussing here. And just 300 people taking and putting into their personal pocket and enrich themselves, there should be severe action taken against those people.
In a written apology published last month, the International Federation of Red Cross Societies said it was outraged at evidence of fraud during its 2014-2016 Ebola operations. The organization promised to crack down on corruption, pledging its commitment to hold all those involved accountable and to reclaim the missing funds. In total, an estimated $6 million were lost to fake billings, inflated prices, and suspected collusion between Red Cross staff and bank employees. According to the former vice president of the Ebola Survivors Network, the scandal could have far-reaching repercussions for future epidemics.
What will motivate the donors again? Just in case we come back to another outbreak, it will not be Ebola but another epidemic. So what will be the support? Because the people will be thinking about the past.
Liberia bore the brunt of the Ebola crisis, with over 4,000 people killed by the virus. The two-year epidemic, which officially ended in 2016, left over 11,000 people dead across West Africa.
Next, the two French journalists accused of trying to blackmail the King of Morocco have been dealt a massive blow. On Friday, a French appeals court ruled that secret tapes could be used as evidence against Eric Laurent and Catherine Gracier. A lawyer for Morocco's Mohammed VI says the move clears the way for a conviction. The pair threatened to publish a book containing potentially damaging revelations about the monarch unless they were paid €3 million. Take a listen to a lawyer for the Moroccan palace.
It's a decision that we'd been expecting since the beginning. We didn't understand why the journalists tried to launch this ambitious annulment procedure in the first place. Now that this is over, we can finally talk about the fundamentals of the case, and the path is clear for the upcoming trial. French police were alerted, as well as Parisian prosecutors, and then the case was brought to the judges. It was a fully transparent process.
Judges in Guinea have wrapped up an investigation into the 2009 stadium massacre when Guinean security forces raped and killed hundreds of opposition supporters at a massive anti-government protest in Conakry. In a report that same year, Human Rights Watch said the violence most likely amounts to crimes against humanity. According to the Ministry of Justice, the victims' representatives are demanding the 14 defendants go to trial. In Zimbabwe, 4 people accused of booing First Lady Grace Mugabe have been released on bail. The group was arrested after attending a rally in the city of Bulawayo, where Mrs. Mugabe made a speech. They're facing charges of undermining the president's authority. The jeering came as rival factions from the ruling ZANU-PF party jostled for power. It led to the sacking of the country's deputy leader, who was accused by President Robert Mugabe of organising the hecklers. Next, bakers in Senegal have had enough. Enterprising middlemen are stocking up on their bread and selling the goods to smaller neighbourhood stores and pocketing a profit. Furious bakers say the system is damaging their livelihoods. They're threatening to walk off the job if authorities fail to crack down on the practice. Our correspondents in Dakar sent us this report.
First thing in the morning, the main priority for many Senegalese is buying the day's loaf of bread or baguette at a neighbourhood shop for the set price of 150 CFA francs, around 20 euro cent.
Yes, there are benefits. We make a profit per kilo. If we stop selling bread, our profits will go down. And that's not good for us.
Selling bread in these shops is forbidden, yet 3/4 of what's baked every day is sold in these small businesses. Middlemen stock up on bread in bakeries and deliver to the local shops for a commission. Bakers like Abdullah have had enough of this makeshift retail chain.
We do not even earn 10 francs on bread. Selling bread in the shops is also not hygienic, because the shopkeeper sells all kinds of products, and the bread that he touches with his hands, oh, it's not good.
On top of the high price of flour, bakers are now sounding the alarm. They're demanding that middlemen stop distributing their bread and instead that bread be sold in specially designed kiosks. Not only would the bread maintain its quality and be kept in hygienic conditions, it would also create jobs, according to the National Federation of Bakers.
If we forbid the sale of bread in the shops, what does it mean? The baker will recruit more staff to sell it and install new sale outlets, kiosks, which would create 3,000 jobs right now in Dakar. I can assure you, in a month or two, if this situation isn't resolved, I think 100 bakeries will close.
Bakers in Senegal are threatening to go on strike by the end of the month if a solution isn't found.
Well, staying in Senegal, the Lions of Teranga are on the road to Russia. The country's football team has qualified for the 2018 FIFA World Cup after beating South Africa 2-0. The match was a replay of a game it lost in November last year. The results annulled due to match fixing by the referee. Seizing this second chance, it's the first time Senegal have clinched a spot at the tournament since 2002. Meanwhile, in Abidjan, Ivory Coast are gearing up to face off against Morocco in their World Cup qualifier. It's a last-ditch bid for the Elephants to secure a place and as they need a win to go through. There's less pressure on the Moroccans, however, who only need a draw to make the cut.
An army of Ivorian football supporters singing, chanting war cries and getting ready for battle. In this amphitheatre at the University of Abidjan, fans are holding a dress rehearsal before their team's World Cup qualifier. A sneak peek at the Orange Tide that will take over the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium. Ivory Coast takes on Morocco to compete for a place at the 2018 tournament in Russia.
We want our team to go through, so we will give it our all to win the game by at least 2-0. We're at home. We must win.
An entire country's hopes are resting on the national team's shoulders. But despite their home advantage, the Elephants head into their final training sessions knowing they must clinch a win in order to qualify.
We're playing at home, so we aren't feeling the pressure. I think we need to prepare as much as possible to give our fans a good game. They want us to go to the World Cup. It really motivates us to do our best.
Fans have flooded the stadium box office where tickets have sold out, leaving many disappointed.
We've been standing in the queue for hours, and when we got there were no tickets left.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Morocco fans have descended on Abidjan and brimming with confidence. Their team only needs a draw to secure a spot at the World Cup.
I came with my wife and son to see the Moroccan national team, and God willing we will win, hopefully.
The buzz and excitement setting the stage for what will no doubt be a nail-biting match.
That's it for now. I'll be back in around 45 minutes with more African news. Stay with us here on France 24. Lots more coming up when Live from Paris continues. Don't go away.